Hey everybody, it's Wraith, and for those of you who saw on my Facebook, today I'm going to be talking about knowing yourself. And it kind of has a couple of different meanings to it, and I'll go through them as I go through this video. But on the first hand, you kind of have to know, obviously, who you are and what you like and those sorts of things. The sort of things like that drive you, your motivations, your goals, your aspirations. And a lot of people just seek to go through life however they can survive, and it's a very survival-based existence, which unfortunately is a very unhappy existence. And it's very important that you know what you want to achieve from life, because obviously, ultimately, you want to go after what you want to achieve in life, regardless of the complications that may come in your way. And you can't go after what you want in life if you don't know what that is. Additionally, you have to understand why you want those things, why you want to achieve that. Because a lot of people think, oh, all I want is more money. Well, how do you want to make that money? Because how you go about making that money can determine whether or not you're happy or not. And even so, why do you want more money? Like, what are you going to do with that money once you get it? Like, you can do pretty much anything to make more money, but it's not going to make you more happy if you're doing something you hate to attain it. Like, I've worked jobs in the past that paid decently, but I hated what I did. And I was never going to be happy doing that. And I'll be honest, the job I'm currently working isn't what I want to do. But it gives me the avenue to work towards what I really do want to do. And as I expressed in my second State of the Wraith, I want to make video games. And I'm also very happy with the fact that I'm making YouTube videos again. I don't necessarily know if it's going to turn into a career, but I enjoy doing it. So it's sort of that too, not just knowing what you want from life, but knowing what you enjoy and doing it, regardless of what that attains you. If all it attains you is happiness, it's worth more than gold, in my opinion. Because a lot of people spend a lot of money in search of making themselves happy, even if it's on a temporary basis. So if you can sort of do something to make yourself happy long term and repeatedly make yourself happy, especially if it doesn't cost you any money, like me making YouTube videos, it costs me nothing right now. Obviously, I do want to spend some money on making my videos better, but at the moment, it doesn't cost anything. And if I choose to do that, that's my choice. And it's because doing this makes me happy and I want to keep doing it. I want to make more content, better content, that sort of thing. And again, that's for y'all, predominantly making the better content. If it was just for me, I'd just stick with what I have. But I want to make it worth your time to watch me. But just find what you want to do with life, why you want to do it, what sort of things you like, and go after them. Don't just, and a lot of people, and I think I've talked about this before in the social stigmas video or something, where a lot of people will try and talk you out of it. Oh, you'll never make money doing that. You can never survive off of that. And you get sort of talked out of it. And I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Robots, but the main character's father in Robots was kind of in that department where he became a dishwasher because what he wanted to do was be a musician, but everyone told him, you can't survive doing that, you'll never make money doing that. So he didn't do it. He gave up on it and he went on to be a dishwasher. And he hated that job. I mean, he ended up finding his happiness in his family, but what he really wanted to do, he never gave a shot. And you can't let people talk you out of things that you want to do. If you stop doing something, it needs to be because you've decided when you tried it that it's not actually what you want. For instance, I at one point wanted to be a writer. I gave it a shot. I published one novella, and it wasn't ultimately what I wanted to do. Because when I was doing it, sure, I enjoyed it, but I grew bored of it really quickly. Like, I could almost never finish my stories because of that. So, the person who needs to decide if you can survive doing a specific career that you want to do is you. Like, I've had numerous jobs that I wanted to pursue that I've ended up not pursuing, but it was my choice. I had a bunch of people tell me, you'll never make any money being a writer. but I kept pushing at it until one day I decided this isn't what I wanted to do. But there's another coin to that, because it's great knowing who you are and what you want to achieve and all that, but none of that matters. Like, even knowing yourself, it's a great step, and it's a necessary step. You have to know who you are. But the other coin of that is loving who you are, because you can know who you are all day long, and I can speak to this from experience. I guess to an extent I knew who I was back then, and I guess to an extent knowing yourself can help you love yourself. So if you know who you are but you don't love yourself, maybe you don't know yourself well enough. Because a lot of people out there, and I know a lot of them, I used to be one of them, I knew who I was, or at least thought I did, but I hated who I was. Like, I honestly felt like I was just taking up space. And knowing yourself is no good if you don't love yourself, because knowing what you want and knowing why you want it and how you want to get it doesn't matter if you don't feel like you deserve it, if you don't feel like you deserve to have the things you want. You have to love yourself, know that you have worth, and know that you deserve to be happy. I believe everyone deserves to be happy at some point. I personally do not believe that everyone outright deserves to be happy. There are people out there, I honestly feel, who have done things that warrant them no longer being happy. And it's probably a little bit of a controversial viewpoint, but certain people who murdered and done other terrible things, I feel like until they have truly let go of that person that was doing that, like, I feel like they are capable of deserving happiness. But anyways, that's kind of beside the point. But ultimately, you have to know who you are, but you have to love that person. You have to know that that person deserves to be happy. That person is you. A lot of people out there will say, oh, if I could only do this, I would love myself. If I could only do that, I would love myself. And that's never, ever going to work. Because if you don't love who you are right now, you're never going to love who you are then. Because you can change everything that you want. But as soon as you change it, if you don't love yourself, you're just going to find something else you want to change. You have to love who you are. You have to know that who you are now is worth it. Because who you are now is not based on what you look like. It's not based on what you have. It's based on what's inside you. And that person, without extreme difficulty, will not change. Like, you can be prettier, you can be thinner, you can be whatever you want to be. That's not going to change who you are inside. It's not. And that's another reason that none of those things can make you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, that's inside you. No matter what you change on the outside, it's never going to make you love yourself unless you already do. And a lot of this is going to take exploration. You're going to have to explore the things you think you like, sort of like I was talking about a second ago. You're going to have to explore what you think you like and find out if that's really what you want to do. There are a lot of people who are like, hey, you're good at singing. I put back at one Brian Ignite on here. You can decide for yourself if you think I am or not. But there are people who are like, hey, you're good at singing. You should make a career out of it. And yes, I like singing. I don't want to make a career out of it. I don't want that to be my lifestyle. I've done a couple songs. I've produced a couple, or not produced, but I've been produced on a couple of songs with my brother, Servant, S-R-R-V-A-N-T, if anyone's interested. But that's not what I want to do for my career. And I know that. I love singing. It makes me happy. Per the previous part of this video, yes, I should continue to do that because it makes me happy. But I also know that that is not the lifestyle, the career that will make me happy. So it's going to take time. Once you've decided to explore who you are and explore what you want and explore all of those things, it's going to take time. And the same goes for loving yourself. You have to really know yourself in order to love yourself, because you can love who you think you are. And it's a little bit more rare, I think, to love who you think you are than to love yourself truly. But you really have to know yourself deeply to love who you really are, because until you know who you really are, how do you know what you're loving? They're like bullies in school. Like when you're a young kid and you're like, I'm the greatest, you all suck, whatever, that sort of thing. They think they're great. They love themselves. They love who they are. But one day, when they grow up, there is a better than average chance that they're going to realize, wow, I'm not pleased with what I've done, with who I've been. And I've gone through that also, where it's difficult because I've done things that I'm like, I'm ashamed of that person. I am ashamed of what that person did, because that person was not me. I mean, physically speaking, obviously that person was me. But I do believe people change. And I know that that person is not the same person recording this now. I have changed significantly from who that person was. And I have now grown. I wouldn't say at this stage that I truly love myself, but I'm growing to, because I'm beginning to understand who I am, and I'm beginning to strive for what I want. And it's been a long process. It's been a very dark and difficult process, but it's been a very important one in my life, and I needed to do it. I needed to go through the hardships, like working at FedEx. Hated that job. Will never speak positively of that job. It's good for some people, not for me. Hated that job. But I needed to go through that. I needed to suffer through that job to find out that I wasn't going to put up with jobs that weren't what I wanted anymore. And again, to an extent, yes, what I'm doing now is kind of a job that isn't what I want to do. But it's paving the way for me, and I know I'm not going to stick with it. Like, I'm going to stick with it as long as it takes to go where I really want to go. But I had to go through FedEx to find out it's not worth making a ton of money if you are miserable doing it. And again, like I spoke about with loving yourself, how you can save a lot of money by loving yourself because you're not going to spend the money. Like, I spent a lot of money just trying to shake off the depression, trying to make myself happy just for a moment. So all of the money I was making at FedEx was going right back to video games, books, alcohol. I was doing whatever I could to actually get away from the misery I was in while I was at that job. And that didn't stop when I left FedEx, because I was still at jobs that I didn't like, really. And they're stressful, and no amount of money is worth being miserable over. Especially not long term. Like, no, you know what, forget it, no job, no money is worth being miserable over. I'm not miserable right now, I'm not. I don't particularly like my job, but it's okay, like my job is okay right now. And it's a stepping stone to get to where I want to be. And it's given me avenues to discover more things I want to do. And just explore deeper, sort of expand my social network, things like that. So ultimately, the point I'm trying to make with this video is that you really need to take time to know who you are, what you want, why you want them, what you intend to do once you get them. And then once you find those things out, you need to pursue them, no matter what anybody else says, no matter how difficult it might be. None of that. You need to pursue that. And you need to know that you can love yourself. You need to learn to love yourself, or you'll never be happy. And you can't say, oh, well, I will. I'm going to love myself when I lose another 20 pounds. I'm going to love myself once I get a little bit prettier. I'm going to love myself once I have more money, because you will quickly find out that that is not true. If you think that way, you will never think you're good enough. You have to shake that mentality, because you will never be skinny enough for yourself if you're not skinny enough for yourself now. And it's fine to think that you are skinny enough now, but still want to lose weight. Like for me, I think I am fine the way I am physically, but at the same time, I know I'm a little overweight, and I do want to lose some more weight. but I love who I am. I think I am worth it right now. But there are some things I still want to change. But I'm going to love myself through that process. And that's vital. You have to love who you are now. You can't say, I'm going to love myself then, because you never will until you love yourself now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. I just felt like this was a really important video. I really wanted to get it out there about live your life. Don't let someone else live it for you. And make sure that you are pursuing what you want for your life, no matter what anybody tells you, and no matter what obstacles come in your way. I kind of follow the ideology from the It movie, where one of the characters said, you're either the sheep or you're the person butchering the sheep. In a loose quote, but you know what I mean. And it's true in a way, because you're either being led around by the people until they kill you or you die, or you are making your own life. You are deciding what your life is. And at the same time, all of that is good and very important, but you need to love yourself. And you need to love yourself who you are right now. And you, no matter who you are, what state you're in, maybe you think you love yourself, but you need to self-explore every day. You need to look inwards and decide, how do I feel today? Why do I feel that way? If I'm feeling bad, what can I do to make it better? If I'm feeling great, what can I do to keep it that way? And it's all just a matter of self-exploration. You have to constantly think about how you're feeling, why you're feeling that way, and what you can do to improve every day. But to love who you are every day, no matter what. You have to love who you are. Even if you want to improve, who you are right now is still worth it, still deserves to be happy, and still deserves to have everything that they strive for. Obviously, there's limitations to that with people who want negative things like hurting other people, but you get my point. And I really hope that this helps someone out there to really reflect and really go, wow, I really do need to learn to love myself more. And I really deeply hope for anybody who doesn't love themselves that they see this video and that they realize that who they are now is worth it. Who they are now is beautiful. Who they are now is an amazing person. Again, want to change things for the better, but who you are now is worth it. And who you are now deserves the same happiness that you're going to deserve once you make those changes. You need to be happy now. You need to love yourself now, or you're never going to later. Anyways, I do appreciate everyone stopping by to view this video. If you did like it, if you could please leave a like. If you want to be kept up to date with it when I release new content, if you could just subscribe, it lets you know when that occurs. And more for this video than any other video I've ever produced, if you know people who would like this content or could benefit from this content or who needs to hear this content, please share it. It's important that people hear this message of love yourself and go for your dreams. Don't let yourself be held back by what other people tell you is success, what other people tell you you need to do to make it in this world. Because only you can tell yourself that. Because what they do to make it in this world doesn't matter if it makes you miserable. That's not making it. That's not surviving. That's just being a drone following the way other people do things. Don't be that person. And again, if you know anyone who could benefit from this, please share it with them. Anyways, I appreciate everyone coming out, and I hope to see you in the next one.